years, Uganda's wetland cover has tremendously reduced from 15.6% by 1994 to 8.9% due to human activities and other factors. Wetlands act as a natural water reservoir that counter drought and regulate water to stop flooding and also reduce on greenhouse gases. They are breeding grounds for fish, birds, and other animals. It is upon this background that the Ministry of Water and Environment, in partnership with the Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries and the National Meteorological Authority, are implementing the 8-year 2017 to 2025 wetland restoration project worth $44.262 million in 24 southwestern and eastern Uganda. Out of the $44.262 million fund, $24.140 million is from the Green Climate Fund. $18.48 million is a co-financing from the government of Uganda, and $2 million is from the United Nations Development Programme. With project implementation entering the 5th year, Uganda is optimistic of its success in building community and wetland resilience after communities heed to the call for them to leave wetlands they had previously invaded for agricultural-related activities in return for alternative livelihoods. Former wetland users are being supported with mini-irrigation scheme to facilitate all year-round farming of high-value crops such as tomatoes, cabbages, onions, watermelon, and carrots. They are also being provided with freshened cows, turkeys, and fish farming. Mary Amoding is one of the several project beneficiaries. She used to grow rice in Limoto wetland in Palisa district, eastern Uganda. When the project started, she voluntarily left the wetland in return for an alternative livelihood promised to communities whose livelihood depended on wetlands. Today, she smiles because her source of livelihood is from a cow given to her by the project. Like Mary, Grace Chitawa, and Mr. Muhammad Kimunga, all residents of Limoto are equally excited about the intervention. Grace, a former wetland user, now is able to cultivate cabbages and onions. She says her life has changed ever since she was introduced to the project. The same can be said about Dennis and Muhammad. Dennis cultivates tomatoes, while Muhammad received a cow that he is currently milking.
Government in Nejanga etusomesa basoka ne bajja ne batusomesa ne bagamba muve muki mu ntobazi ne tubawuza munatukolera ki ne bagamba bagenda utusimira ebidiba batugabe ente ne sekoko batukolere ne irrigation. Amu nengenda nempita omulimisa ne mugamba jangu olabe ettaka lyange lino lisaana okuteekamu ebitungulu. Weyajja n'angamba bisaana nanjigiriza nenkola bed nursery nensimba wano okusooka nakungula $50,000. Kakati nenyumirwa nnyo nenjuwa bed nensimba wano mikebe 2 nenkungula ate $1,800,000.
Enyaanya gino insa ino government neje balya olwo tuletere project eno ninjaba ningisoma nagisomera nimbona nga nsa ino iya bairensa ino zena ninjiza nitandika ugezi yakwenu inakolere kunikola kerijezi janga 2 ninfuna $1,000,000 yange moizane kitundu. Season yo kubiri nindima ninfuna $2,000,000 ene season ejindi kuyo 3 indimire ndikufuna infunire $1,400,000.
Paire ente ngezwe mu government ye Uganda nibampe ente eyo era nabyalisirye nkama mata nabyalisirye mwana gusooka ningaba atyane erimu yange era ndi ugikama omuluna ku nkama erita 9 yendi ukama naye bampaire n'alindima mwiga ninzwayo ati ano ndikuliisha nte kati ente eno ebirungi byenfunamu kunywa amata namala nentunda nembanga nyamba ebizibu bya mu maka gange era kati yiye ezadde enyana eyo mmanyi nti weenaakula era enaasigala nga zinyamba.
This level of benefit is exciting district authorities as well, who have commended the project for contributing to their efforts in conserving the environment while improving lives of households.
Program basically aims to restore the hitherto degraded wetland, the wetland specifically of Limoto. Now, people who know and saw the Limoto of a few years ago remember that it had almost been reduced to soil or ground or dust, depending on the weather. Now, the restoration program aimed and continue to aim at restoring it in its natural form, where it has vegetation and water is permanently available in the wetland, so that that situation can now enable a number of projects to benefit the people who were surviving on growing rice in the wetland. People are settled and they are busy and they are very happy.
Similar initiatives have been undertaken in southwestern Uganda. In Mitoma, for instance, wetland users received piggery projects through the registered groups. Mr. Milton Mikirinabo is chairperson of Nshenga Abatenganda Group, consisting of 48 members, 18 women and 19 men, 7 youth and 4 elders. The group received 2 piglets within a period of 3 years. Mikirinabo has ensured all members have benefited. The initiative has never left Mikirinabo's life the same.
Nobona bene impereza bamemba bari andu kubahereza ziri zina bene mbahereza nkanta bazona nguzahwa nkabansigaza empunezo mwenyo wenyine bintu nkabisha tekinyi kuzikunda cyo kubanza zinyambere omukuzuguza nkahera abana banje fees abo kwanyo mu yanje yinkora abana ibina binyine nyina abana mukaga kandi mostere empunezo zo bakwatiye mu kubashomesa mwe nabwe cyo kushoma kwa abana banje nicyo bakozikundira kuri jyo mu mpunezi kumbe ni mpaba aba group nshaze hunguza ikindi cyakabe kingubira mu mpundomu naweza kubatambuza ife nkaha nimuja kuri rutocho runyine maniwa na fruits ngize mu kura zone ziryazo nabwe mpunezi maniwa nyine nyingi nabamwe ninjuguza kamashaguze kunya byone bimukweya byona mine yinko bipakinga abantu mbija babugura.
Like Nshenga Abatenganda Group, Sema Community Driven Development Initiative also benefited from the piggery initiative, as Mrs. Tuwanje Eridadi testifies.
People are no longer going to Nyamuhizi for the activities that used to degrade the swamp, the wetland. They have known that the market here is plentiful. We have a lot of market. People have taken to eating pork. And when you have a pig, you just need to mention that you have. Even when you don't mention, people come to our village to look for pigs to buy.
Authorities in Mitoma district now say there is need to scale up the project.
In Mitoma, we have had interventions in Nyamuhisi Kagogo wetland system, where among other activities, the officers are doing the restoration of the wetland, but also trying to provide the alternative livelihood for the communities that have been depending on the wetland to get livelihood. And particularly, they have had the provisions of pigs. The intervention on the restoration of the wetlands, they have had the planting of the trees along the degraded wetland. They have had the sensitizations of the community, and then provision of the alternative livelihood.
Mr. Alfred Okidi Okot, who is the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Water and Environment, explains the strides and lessons so far registered in restoring Uganda's wetlands and what needs to be done for sustainability.
The project has given us quite a number of interesting lessons as a ministry and as a country. First and foremost, it has clearly demonstrated the benefits of the wise usage of wetlands. Wetlands is a resource, it has diverse ecosystems, and if we use those ecosystems properly, then we can see tremendous benefit. In the places where we have already started the implementation, we can see the wetlands have been restored. Species that had migrated, whether birds, mammals, reptiles, have actually come back into the wetlands. But also the communities that are now living adjacent to the wetlands are actually earning more than they were from the wetlands directly. So there thus can be a situation whereby we have the ecosystem and the human beings living in harmony.
The Wetland Restoration Project demonstrates that provision of alternative livelihoods to communities can be very effective in relieving wetlands of human pressures. As a result, several wetlands being restored under the project including Limoto Wetland, Nyaruzinga, Nyamuhizi Kagogo, and Mpologoma among other wetlands are progressively regenerating.